Oh, this is what we were gonna watch. Police chief resigns after detaining business owner. This is the one we wanted to watch.
Welcome to Audit The Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers reasonable suspicion, police investigations, and officer experience, and is brought to us by the Marin Independent Journal's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Before we dive into the interaction, I want to give a big thanks to the sponsor of this episode, Skillshare. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this episode. In the early morning hours of August 21st, 2020, Yema Khalif, the owner of fashion startup Yema, and his wife and co-owner Hawi Awash were working late at their store in downtown Tiburon, California, along with a friend visiting from Washington, D.C. According to Mr. Khalif, a Tiburon police car drove around the block 3 times, at one point stopping across from the store for about a minute. After conducting this surveillance, the officer parked and began to approach the store.
Oh no.
You guys, I've never seen you open this late.
Yeah.
You just restocking?
No, just doing our thing.
Just doing your thing? What's your thing?
What's up?
Well, I've never seen anyone in the store this
Is there
late.
a problem? No, just chill, Is that a problem?
No, sir, there's no problem. I've never seen anyone in the store this late. I wanted to come check in, make sure
There's
everything's
no
okay.
problem going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys restocking the store, or
There's no problem going on.
why are you here so late?
It does not matter.
It does matter.
To who?
To me.
Why?
Because the store's never open this late.
Is it your store?
No.
No.
And then what? If it's not your store, what's the problem?
I'm making sure that everyone is okay
There's
down
no
here.
problem going on. So if you have a problem, you let me know right now if there's a problem.
I just want to know why you guys are here so late.
It does not matter.
It does matter to me.
It does not matter to me. So
does.
if you have a problem, you tell me right now if you have a problem.
I don't have a problem, sir.
I feel like this guy, should, at this point, you should just tell him what the fuck you're, tell him you're doing inventory or something, right? Just tell him and then get him the fuck off, right? He has no right to, inquire or know anything. This dude is fully within his rights, and I would argue probably fully within his moral obligations. But I would just tell him so he fucks off. I would just get him the fuck away. I don't think this guy loses anything for saying, we're just doing inventory. Get the fuck out of here.
I just want to know why you guys are here so late.
It does not matter. That's what I'm telling you.
It does to me. Can you take a hand in your pocket, please?
It does not matter to me.
Okay.
Sounds a lie could get in deeper in trouble? Sure. But, just tell them what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why you wouldn't just say it.
Why are you guys here so late?
It does not matter to me.
I don't care, sir.
If you have a problem, call your chief of police, call whoever you want to call.
My supervisor's already on his way.
Yeah, call him. Tell him to come talk
He's
to me.
coming. Or one of you own the store?
Huh?
Do one of you own the store?
It does not matter. I'm not going to answer your question. If you have a problem, you tell me you have a problem.
I have a problem with you guys being here so late and you not telling me why.
Is it your store?
No.
So you call your supervisor, tell him to come here.
He's already on his way.
Okay, so when he's here, knock the door, tell me he's here. Is that okay?
Can you just tell me why you
This
guys...
guy's kind of base, though.
It
Here,
does
I'll let
not
you
matter.
go.
Call your supervisor, tell him to come here, and then...
Do one of
Guy's
you
being a bit based.
two own the store
no,
or have any reason
do
to
not
be here?
talk to anybody else. Talk to me. You're talking to me right now.
No, I'm talking to all three of you. 'cause all
You're
three of you
talking
are in
to
the
me,
store.
sir. Okay? You're talking to me.
Okay, but, reasonably, though, does a cop not, if we're talking in actuality, does a cop not have the ability to inquire whether or not, people are inside of a place late and they're, robbing it? Because let's be honest, that's what this dude is trying to get at. He thinks that these people are robbing it. That's what he's trying to, get at, right? So, let's say a cop goes past the store, and there's people taking a bunch of the stuff inside of the store, or what have you, picking them up, moving them around, or what have you. Do they not have the ability to, inquire what's going on, legally speaking? If you were the shop owner, wouldn't you want the police checking in if there are people at night? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, Supreme, right? If I owned, imagine that these people are robbing the store, and I own the store. Why wouldn't I want the cops to be like, hey, what's going on? What's up? It's 2 a.m., bro. It's midnight. What's up, right? That, yeah, sure.
Call your supervisor, let him come here.
He's already on his way.
Okay, so when he's here, you let me know.
No, why don't you come out here for me?
The officer orders Mr. Khalif to step out of the store, which would constitute a detainment by show of authority. As we've discussed many times on ATA, in order to detain an individual...
I hate this rule so much because so many people, if a cop tells you, hey, can you come over here? I think so many people don't think that, it carries the legal weight that it actually does. At least what ATA has described it to. And I feel like that's, a shame because, I don't know. It's just really weird. when a cop says, "Hey, come over here," or don't, or stop moving, or something like that, apparently it can count as I don't know if it always does, can count as a detainment, and you're detained, so you have to do what they say. I didn't know that, but like, yeah, it's weird.
Police officers must have a reasonable suspicion that the individual is involved in criminal activity. In the 1974 case of People versus...
Why can't the cop just do a fucking Google search? Literally, you can see it, a black-owned business. Nas, I don't mean to be this guy, but just because it says it's a black-owned business and there's 3 black people in it, doesn't mean those are the 3 black people that own the business.
Lathan, the second appellate district of the California Court of Appeals determined that a police officer did not have reasonable suspicion to detain an individual who was behaving in an unusual but not overtly criminal way. The court stated that not only must an officer have a...
Why is Linus trying to break into a car?
...rational suspicion that some activity out of the ordinary is...
Down bad, huh? Man, those bad reviews of that Hassan build really hitting him hard.
...or has taken place, but the officer must also have some suggestion that the activity is related to crime. Where the events an officer observed
that doesn't
are
look like Linus, mate. Bro, I swing and I miss 80% of the time. I'm just gonna have fun with it, okay? Half of you dumb fucks are like, oh, you think all white people look the same? So what if I do, okay? So what if I fucking do, all right? I'm a swing, I'm a miss. Yeah, I'll have fun with it, man.
With innocent activity as with criminal activity, a detention based on those events is unlawful. The court also stated that the fact an event occurs at nighttime does not, without more, transform an innocent gesture into a criminal one. Finally, the court concluded that it was the duty of the police officer to keep the individual engaged in unusual behavior under observation, but that the officer was not entitled to detain the individual. Applying California law as outlined in the Lathan case, the officer did not have the level of reasonable suspicion necessary to detain Mr. Khalif. While it may have been unusual for individuals to be in the store after closing, there was nothing to suggest that the activity was related to crime, and the events were far more consistent with innocent activity than criminal activity.
True.
The only fact the officer points to that made the activity unusual was the time of night, which is not enough to warrant reasonable suspicion. Instead of detaining Mr. Khalif, the officer should have observed the activity in the store to determine if there was any suggestion that it was related to crime.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna. Do you have a...
All right, that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I don't really have a problem with an officer going up and saying, hey, what's going on? I don't really have an issue with this. Myself, personally, from like a moral standpoint, I don't really have an issue with this. But, yeah. Yeah.
Problem with me?
I have a problem with you 3 being in the store right
Is
now.
this your
Not
store?
telling me
That's
why.
what I'm asking you.
80%? You think you're 20% accurate? I think I'm 100% accurate. I think I just sling bangers every time. I'm saying that you guys are 80% dumb fuck and 20% based. I look over it at my monitor real quick when you mention it, and it did look like him for a second. Azerwind. True.
This town is my duty to protect.
I live here. Do not tell me about whatever.
That's fine.
Okay.
Where do you live?
I'm not going to answer your question. When your supervisor is here, you tell him to come talk to me.
Okay, he's already on his way. Can I tell him who you are?
So I do not have to talk to you.
You do have to talk to me.
No, I do not have to talk to you.
Yes, you do. Because it's 1 o'clock in the
About
morning
what?
and you're inside of a store and you can't tell me why.
It does not matter.
I would have done the same thing if you were over there at the candy store or wherever.
Dude.
Can you tell me who you are?
I'm not going to tell you who I am.
Why?
Because I'm not going to.
Why?
Because I'm not going to. Who are you?
My name is Isaac.
Isaac. And then what's your problem?
My problem is there's 3 people in a store
I suck dick. I guess that kind of backfired, huh?
1 o'clock in the morning.
Because
I tried to do the dragon thing, but it kind of backfired.
there's 3 people in the store. What's the problem with 3 people being in a store?
It's 1 o'clock in the morning, sir.
And what's the problem with that?
People aren't usually in stores at 1 in the morning.
And what's the problem with that?
Because you can't tell me why you're...
So your supervisor's going to come tell me what the problem
Let me put it this way, sir.
Yes.
If I was walking
Another
around that
miss.
store at 1 o'clock in the morning, not in this, would you think it's odd? Would you think that was odd?
If you are doing what?
If I was in a store at 1
Now I'll
o'clock
be
in the
minding my
morning,
business.
Oral
I'll
hypers.
be minding my business.
Hey,
I would think
Mom.
that's a little strange.
I'll be minding my business. I'm not going to tell you anything. You're going to bring your supervisor, you bring your
He's
supervisor.
coming right now. He's right here.
Okay, you tell him to come talk to me.
He's on his way.
Okay, where's your supervisor?
He's right there.
Okay, tell him to come then.
Okay.
Yeah. Supervisor, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you,
You
sir?
came 3 of you guys. What's going on? What's the problem? There's 3 black people in the store. What's the problem with that?
So it's 1 o'clock in the morning. There's 3 people in the store.
There's
they want
3
to tell
black
me why
people in
they're
the store, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Uh-oh, you know he knows what's going on, dude. Uh-oh, you know he knows what's up. He's like, he keeps reminding them that they're black people. Oh, no. It's starting, so it begins.
What's the problem?
There's 3 people.
There's 3 black people in the store. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. What's the problem?
It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and
Yes.
we never have any
So
activity.
the way I view this interaction, I don't blame the cop for going up and trying to figure out what's going on. It's 1 a.m. People are in a store. I have no issue with it, right? Do I argue whether or not it's racially motivated? It might be. It very well might be, right? So he comes up. He's like, hey, what's going on? Just wanted to figure out. As soon as this guy's like combative, is like, hey, leave. I think the cop should just go, hey, yo, listen, my bad. Just go back. And then if he's really concerned with it, observe the people to see if they're stealing shit. That's it. That's it. That's like the most you should get out of it, right? I have no actual issue with a cop. And I would say to a degree, like, I think it's cool that the cop might inquire whenever there's somebody inside of a store, like incredibly irregular hours at like 1 a.m. They might inquire what's going on. Now, I highly doubt that these people are stealing shit with the lights fully on like this and stuff like that. I would doubt that that's probably what's going on, but... You know, call the owner. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you should. Yeah, that's a reasonable thing. I don't know if the owner has like their. Oh no, you could just look up the store, maybe.
Okay.
Is this your store?
So what's the problem with having 3 black people in the store?
I don't know, because usually when you like call a number for a store, it like calls like the front desk, right?
You keep emphasizing black people. That's not.
Yes, you cannot tell me you don't see that. You see that 3 black people in the store. What's the problem?
Oh no, he was patrolling. He was patrolling the area. He's on patrol actively.
that?
I see 3 people in the
I see
store
black
at
people
1
in the
o'clock
store.
in the morning.
I see
1
black-
o'clock in the morning. This
Okay.
street's closed up at 9 o'clock at night. There's
Okay.
nobody here.
Okay, so what's the problem?
That's the problem.
Okay.
This street closes at 9 o'clock at night, and there's
Okay.
never anybody in here.
Okay.
This isn't regular business hours. There's no
Okay.
customers in there.
Okay.
Is it your store? That's all we want to know.
Like, do you want to know why?
I want to know what you're doing in the store at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, if I tell you it's my store, then what?
Then show me that it's your store.
I do not have to show you nothing. If I tell you it's my store, then what?
The Tiburon officer was joined by his supervisor, Sergeant Michael Blasi, who demands that Mr. Khalif prove he owns the store. In general, citizens are not legally required to assist police officers with their investigations. In this situation, Mr. Khalif did not have a responsibility to answer Sergeant Blasi's questions, explain what he was doing in the store, or prove that he is the owner of the store. He claimed to be the store owner, and the officers had no evidence that he was being untruthful. There were no signs of forced entry, such as broken windows or doors. The lights were on in the store. The individuals inside were not trying to hide, and nothing was ransacked or destroyed. The store alarm did not go off, and no one called the police to report criminal activity. There is far more evidence to suggest nothing illegal is happening than the conclusion that criminal activity is occurring. The officers easily could have accepted Mr. Khalif's statement that he owned the store and stayed
are you
outside to
talking
observe
about,
the activity
gamers?
occurring in the store.
We're just
I do
trying
not
to
have to prove anything to you.
Is this
if
your
I tell
store?
you if it's my store, then what?
Aren't you glad we're looking out for your store?
I am glad you're looking out for my store, but if I
Okay.
tell you it's my store, then what?
Then you should be grateful that we're being as diligent as we are to look out for the street. That's all we do.
Okay, it's my store.
Okay.
Okay?
Did you identify
I
yourself?
do
to
not
the
have to
officer?
identify myself to anybody. It's my store.
So I'm just personally trying to think of how this situation would have worked had it gone down a separate way. Let's imagine I'm trying to steal shit from this store. Cops show up. What the things that I'm seeing right now is like cops show up and stuff like that. All I got to do is be like, "Oh yeah, I own the place. I don't have to show you shit that I own it, but I own it," and just keep the lights on, right? And that can be a pretty big issue. And that, so like, I'm not sure if the alternative is like worse, like, which is if I own the store, I have to show proof that I own the store or what have you. Now, I'm not sure if the alternative is worse, you know? How do you prove you own the store? Like, that's what I mean. I don't know. Like, do you get like a deed? That's what I'm saying. Is the alternative of me being forced to prove that I own the store by whatever means, and I don't even know how that would work, is that worse than the reality of all I got to do to rob a store is just keep the lights on and then like pick up small things that they probably aren't going to notice at a passing glance, and I just sit at the door, you know? I just walk into a store, make sure the lights are on, and just say, oh yeah, I'm the owner. They're like, oh, well, can you show me proof? Nah, I don't have to. I own the store. And they're like, well, fuck. I mean, the lights are, yeah, like the lights are on, dude. Like, you think I'd really rob the place with all the lights on? Like my coworkers are here, and it's just the people that want to steal shit with me. My coworkers are here, dude. I'm like, this is a late night, dude. I'm paying them like overtime to be here, bro. I need to get back to what I'm doing, right? We're just trying to finish up some inventory, dude. Chill, right? I own the store. That's all I gotta say. And I'm not sure if that's a better reality to live in.
Okay, then what?
Sergeant Blassie
How are you
argues that
going
the
to
officers are just
turn the alarm off? I don't know. There could be ways. I have legitimately no idea. I don't know. Maybe there isn't an alarm. Not every store has an alarm in it, right? You could legitimately pick the lock, and it could just, not have an alarm on it or what have you. And if there is a door without an alarm, do you take that situation differently then?
justified in their demands because the stores in the area are closed at night, and the sergeant's experience...
No way to know they even have an alarm? No, there are some ways absolutely to know whether or not they have an alarm.
As an officer would likely play a role in the court's ruling. Starting with the infamous Terry case, courts have given considerable deference to a police officer's experience when determining the reasonableness of a stop. In the Terry case, the Supreme Court determined that officers have reasonable suspicion when they observe unusual conduct which leads them to reasonably conclude that criminal activity may be occurring, and that when determining whether an officer acted reasonably, courts must give due weight to the specific reasonable inferences that officers are entitled to draw from the facts in light of their experience. Through the years, the level of reverence courts have given to officer experience has grown, and there are many court decisions that deal with this issue. For example, in the 1981 case of United States versus Cortez, the Supreme Court stated that
would the situation be similar or not? Well, Mech, I would say you being in your apartment at night is what every single human does, right? Every single person is in their house at night, right? But not every single person is in their place of business at 1 a.m., right? So I don't think that's an analogous thing there.
Enforcement officers can combine objective facts that are meaningless to the untrained with permissible deductions from those facts to form a legitimate basis for suspecting a particular individual of a crime. Then, in the 1996 case of Ornelas versus United States, the Supreme Court determined that a reviewing appellate court should give due weight to inference.
Wait, I would like to apologize for mouthing the wrongful word from the lyric of the song that was playing on site. I had no intentions of doing it with any purpose and got carried away when one of my favorite artists' songs played. I sincerely apologize. Wait, were people getting mad at somebody mouthing the N-word? Is that what that is? Who cares? Wait, who actually fucking cares?
Is drawn from facts both by local...
That is some soy ass... Just mouthing the N-word, not saying it? Just not even saying it, just mouthing it? Mismouthed? Zoomers care? The fuck? Why would you care?
Judges and by local police, who view the facts through the lens of their experience and expertise. Some legal scholars have interpreted this case to grant decisions and conclusions made by police officers the same level of deference as is given to judges in appellate courts. Most recently, in the 2020 case of Kansas versus Glover, the Supreme Court held that officers are not required...
She thought about the N-word. Not funny, bro. True.
...to point to specific training materials or field experiences justifying their reasonable suspicions, and that they can rely on knowledge gained outside of their law enforcement training and experience in determining probable cause. However, even the high level of deference courts give to officer experience is not a rubber stamp for all police decisions, and it is unlikely that any court would find that Sergeant Blassie had a reasonable suspicion that Mr. Khalif was engaged in criminal activity.
Yeah, exactly. So it's my store, so what?
Can you prove that it's your
store? I do not have to prove anything to you, sir.
Actually, you do, sir.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. To who and to why?
Oh, my God.
I do not have to prove my existence
to you. Who you are.
I do not have to prove my existence to you.
You are in a store after hours when the stores are closed on this street all night. Okay. This store... the last store that closes is Sam's Anchor Cafe right over there, and it closes at 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
There's 3 people in the store in the middle of
Okay.
the... Excuse me, I'll put this on now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
There's 3 people in the store in the middle of the night. We are doing what we're supposed to do. We're looking out for our community.
Okay.
That's all we're doing.
Okay.
That's it.
You're looking out for my community. That's
Yes.
what you mean to say.
If this is your store, you're part
No,
of
not
our
if this
community.
is my store. I've already told you it's my store. Don't use the word if.
Okay.
I've told you it's my store.
Okay. Then we're looking out
So
for
don't
your
use the word
community.
if. Okay.
Do you want us to look out for your community,
do
or
want
do you want
you
us to let anybody just walk in here at 2 o'clock in the morning and steal all your stuff?
I want you to look out for my
You
community.
sure?
Yeah,
Because you
of
don't sound like you're very grateful.
No,
You
no.
sound like you're very defensive.
No, I do not sound this defensive.
Really?
Hey.
Come on now.
Calm
You're
down.
being very defensive.
No, calm down.
My officer is
Calm
doing
down.
his job.
Your officer's not doing his job.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, listen.
Yes, he is.
Listen.
He is doing his job.
Man, that's exactly what I did. I knocked and asked if you guys were
Yeah,
owner
but
or
did the alarm
restocking.
go
Or,
off, though?
I didn't know you had an alarm system, sir. I just got here.
Sir, we're
just
supposed to
drove
look
by.
out for this neighborhood.
There's a
That's what
sign
we do.
here that says Red Roof Security.
Those are a dime a dozen.
Okay, those, by the way. Okay, I don't mean to be giving away the secret. Those mean absolutely nothing. All right? All the stores in my area had those fucking stickers. Ain't none of them had an alarm. That didn't mean shit.
And half of those aren't even
I'm
half
gonna
of
let you
those
know.
don't have active
That doesn't
alarms.
mean
All right,
shit.
so I want to wrap up this conversation. We're wasting time. So what's going on? What's up? What's the next step?
Prove
Can
to
you
us
just-
that you have keys.
Yeah.
and way to get
No,
in.
no lawn sign, no alarm. Half of the fucking houses on my block as well had a fucking house alarm sign. Ain't none of them had alarms. None of them had alarms. That shit is just that is.
There you go. That's a perfect thing.
I just asked for
I
that.
don't know. Okay.
You know what? Put the
wait.
key in the door and we're out of here.
Put the key in the door?
Put the key in the door. If,
I asked you
if
if
this
your
is your
keys-
store, you have the
Not
key in the
if
door.
I'm telling you.
There you go.
Stand back, please.
There you
Do
go.
not raise your voice at me.
Put
okay?
the key in the door,
Don't
we're
raise
outta
your
here.
voice at me. Just chill. I'm going to put my key in the door.
That's his store.
What's that?
That's his store.
Thank
thank
you
you,
very
sir.
much. That's all I need to know.
Dude knows
Thank you. See ya.
After repeatedly insisting that Mr. Khalif needed to prove that
Alright, bye. Okay, dude. See you later.
he owned the store,
He's like,
Sergeant
shit. There's other people in here now. Oh shit, bro. All right, my bad. Bye, bro.
Flossie immediately accepts a stranger's statement that Mr. Khalif owns the store and walks away. The stranger provided no further evidence than what the officers already had, as Mr. Khalif had informed them that he owned the store multiple times. The officers did not ask the stranger any additional questions or take any actions to determine his credibility, and simply
Yeah, Tommy, I'm thinking the exact same thing. Please, I'm begging all of reality that the stranger isn't white. Yeah, if the stranger is white, it looks real bad. It looks really bad. Like, the optics are quite unsalvageable. Honestly, it's unsalvageable.
walked away from the encounter based on his word.
Thank you for your time.
Can you put the key
Excuse
in the door,
me, a person of the light.
key in the door for me?
Huh?
Can you put the key in the door, please?
I'm not going to put the key in the door. He already told you. The chief of police is walking away. That's your supervisor. He said you walk away. Walk
We're
away.
good. He said it's his store. That's good enough for me.
The same day as the incident, Mr. Khalif posted a video his friend recorded of the interaction on Yema's Instagram page, alleging that the encounter was an instance of racial profiling. The video went viral, sparking a protest in support of Mr. Khalif and the Black Lives Matter movement. The protest, which occurred on August 29th, 2020, was attended by over 200 people.
By the way, I'm not like, I don't think that there's like solid concrete evidence that this is racism, but I also don't like super shit on people that say that it's racism here.